What up, what up, what up, what up? It's me, L Teddy 27.
What's good? It's night right about the hood.
Oh, dear God, I'm already eating and drinking.
Look a damn mess. Just a damn mess. No means no, and yes means no. What up, what up, what up, what up, what up, what up? What's good? What's up, what's up, what's up, people? What's up, what's up, what's up? It's me. It's me, L Teddy 27, and I am back here for yet another review. This is going to be our review for Queen Sugar. This is season 6. It is episode 2. It is entitled And Dream with Them Deeply. So I kind of figured out that the themes either go with like maybe a poem or speech or some prose or written piece that they are, chunking up and so forth. So that's why when I saw the title of last episode, I was like, don't understand where they're going with that, but now I understand. All right, so we start off, what happened to Prosper. Everybody's at the hospital. And so forth, and we get caught up real fast on what's going on. Apparently, he has trauma to the brain and to the head, and he's in a medically induced coma because there's inflammation and hemorrhaging and stuff like that of the brain. Vi already called his daughter, who's in Chicago and on her way down. Vi tells Micah tries to call his mom, and Vi was like, "Don't worry her. She's over there in California. She's got these big meetings. She need to concentrate on that. Don't worry about telling her yet. Just let her be. We'll catch her up later." And then Prosper's daughter comes in the door. Her name is Billy. I don't know why all of these women have male names, but that's a whole different story. Anyway, Billy is she comes in, beautiful light-skinned woman or whatnot. She comes in and she tells the doctor, "Listen, I got this. He has family. I am here. I can take care of it. He has insurance, I have emergency, I got all of the things involved. Here's the paperwork, next of kin, power of attorney, I have everything here. He is accounted for. You don't need to talk to nobody else but me." So, and she said, "You do not need to hold back on any treatment. Whatever you need to do to save him, you need to do that." Vi tells everybody they can go on and go home, and she's going to stay, and so forth, because Ralph Angel and Darla got to go to the OBGYN to find out the sex of their baby. Hollywood has an interview that he's going to be doing with the local news station, and they're going to do this spotlight on him and the spot and so forth, and he has to go prepare for that and so forth. So everybody goes outside the hospital. Michael was sitting down, and he's been having these spells where he's replaying in his head what happened with Mr. Prosper, simultaneously remembering what happened to him with the police, and he's having these spells where he's having issues with thinking about the police brutality and stuff like that. So he was sitting there, and this police sheriff or whatever goes by him and was kind of rude and disrespectful to him, and it kind of threw him off and had him kind of shook a little bit, and you could tell. So Hollywood walks up on him, and he kind of sees that. He asks Micah, "Hey, everything okay?" Micah was like, "Listen, and so Hollywood immediately says, "You know what? Come by the spot. I'm being interviewed by the police, not by the police, Lord, by the local news station, and you can come down and check out the spot, and I can show you the wall that I told you that I was going to have you put pictures up on and so forth." So Hollywood jumps in and does exactly what Hollywood does, kind of, calms, Micah down and brings him back, in order. Charlie meets with, we did see Charlie over in California. She's meeting with, having this lunch with the brass down there to the Democratic Party. And so they're telling her how excited they are for her, how much they're looking forward to her, and they've been following her and what she's done over in St. Joseph. And they want her to, do more and have a wider, influence. So they want her to run for state senate out there in Louisiana. And so she's kind of excited about it. And so, but they tell her, "Listen, make sure, if there are any skeletons out there, that you let us know now, that so we can, either say yay or nay or get on top of it." Now she's like, "No, there are no skeletons here. Everything's okay." My brain can't remember all the way back to season 1, but I feel like it's something that we forgot that she's hiding. Y'all gonna tell me in the comment section if I'm forgetting, or something we may not know about that she should have thought about. Because usually when they ask that and you so quickly, "Yeah, I have no skeleton." Everybody got a skeleton or 2 or 5. Anyway, back down to the hospital. The doctor comes out and says, "Yeah, I have an update." And so both Vi and Billy, Prosper's daughter, simultaneously say, what's going on? Tell me what's up. And so Billy looked at her like, and this is the thing about Vi. Vi oversteps way too much. She gets too involved and too attached to situations. And unfortunately, because of Vi's situation, unfortunately, Vi, as we know, don't have any kids of her own. And so Vi kind of takes on this motherly role with everyone, assuming that everyone's going to be okay with that, and everyone's not. Everybody's just not going to be okay with that. Everybody's not going to be okay with you being a helicopter parent to them, and they're a grown ass adult. And so, even in this situation, once his daughter came by, that was when Hollywood should have said to Vi, I know that's your friend of 35 years, but you got to let his daughter take the man. And I think even Hollywood, to a certain degree, doesn't act like a traditional husband. He takes this backseat role to her, and he acquiesces to her all of the time and coalesces to whatever she does because he's younger, and just lets her go off on these tangents that are sometimes overstepping and often and sometimes even dangerous. And so somebody at some point is going to have to check her, and they just let her just do whatever. And so I was kind of with the daughter this whole episode. I was with the daughter completely this episode. So the daughter was like, but I kind of overstepped her bounds because the doctor was trying to recommend some experimental treatment, and the doctor was kind of asking him some questions, and Vi was like, no, we're gonna do this, and the doctor was like, no, I will make that decision, that's up to me. And so Vi kept pushing, and she did what she does, and she had this whole thing about, and the doctor checked her. Listen, no, I make the decision. I'm his daughter. I will decide what's good and not good. Matter of fact, doctor, please take her off the list of people that can visit. Matter of fact, take all the borderlines off. Since you want to be out of order and out of pocket, none of y'all can come see him. And Vi tried to talk to the doctor. Well, you know me, such as a doctor. Like, it's nothing I can do for you. That's the family, and I have to go to the wishes of the family. And to me, that was even more disrespectful for her to think that she was going to usurp the authority of the daughter by saying, oh, well, I know the doctor, and he's just going to help me, he's going to let me get in that. No, absolutely not. I thank you. And the daughter started out by saying, you know what, I appreciate you. I thank you for being there. Thank you for all that you did. And she would not let it go. Like, Vi wouldn't let it go. She kept pushing and pushing. And she really overstepped. Child, daughter did the right thing. I was here for it. We then see Micah, who's, like I said, having these little fits and these spells where he's, recalling all of these, instances with the police and so forth. And so he meets up with his friend, and I don't know if it was just his friend or his frat brother, because at the end of the conversation, he said, we're brothers and stuff like that. And so I don't know if that's his fraternity brother or just a friend back at school or whatever, but they talk about it. And they have a conversation now. I wonder where they're going with this, because a good story, it's not happenstance that we meet this guy that Micah met up with this guy. Like, to me, there wasn't a whole lot to that conversation. There wasn't anything extra I felt like we got out of that conversation. And so I feel like we're going to see that guy over again. Otherwise, I just didn't really see the point in that conversation. But anyway, Charlie calls, and after the guy leaves or whatever, and Micah tells Charlie about Prosper. Now, Micah did lie and put 20 on 10 and say that Prosper was beat up. Now, Prosper wasn't beaten. Prosper and the guy, the guy pushed Prosper a little too hard, and Prosper fell and hit his head. He was not beaten up. Anyway, Vi calls. Charlie says, I'm on my way. I'm coming on. Charlie immediately said, yeah, I'm coming on. Immediately. We then see Vi calling Nova, because she's going to get somebody going to get her up in there, because she's going to get some straightening. And how dare you tell me I can't go in there? So she called Nova, and even how she approached Nova and how she talked to Nova was just way too much. Put 20 on 10. Way too, just like, oh, you better go talk to her. You better da-da-da. And just the whole tone of the conversation and just the way, they're not children anymore. And you should not be talking to adults that way. You just can't anymore. You just can't do that. You shouldn't even talk to your own kids that way anymore once they become adults. But newsflash, you don't have any. And I hate to be that way with Vi, but she's out of order. And she's been getting worse and worse over the last few seasons. She's been getting worse. But yeah, she was out of line, even how she talked to Nova. But she told Nova, you need to call Billy, because y'all was friends, and tell her and make her, let me go see Prosper again. So we did see Nova calls Prosper's daughter, Billy, and she doesn't answer, but she leaves a message or whatnot. And the message seemed kind of awkward. It was like, it wasn't a normal message. It seemed kind of awkward to me. So then Nova starts, is on her phone, and she sees that her name starts trending on Twitter for none of the good reasons. And so she calls one of the staff members or whatnot down there to Troop Papers, and while she's on the phone with her, she hears this static or whatnot, and she immediately thinks that her phone is being tapped or something nefarious is going on. She's paranoid at this point. Not that she shouldn't be. And so she says, I don't feel safe, just make a call a meeting, send me an email about it. So then Ralph Angel and Darla are down there to the doctor. They find out that they're having a girl. They get the little pictures of the ultrasound and everything. Real cute, real touchy feely or whatever. And then we see Hollywood is on the phone. And so Hollywood tells Vi, that he confirmed with the local news station that they are coming out to take, a little spotlight on his place, the spot. And, and so they're talking about everything. And so Vi's packing up another plate and she's still lying about who she's taking food to and whatnot and trying to keep that from him. And so Hollywood says, listen, I need you there. You're my good luck charm. And I need you there. And she's like, yeah, I'm going to be there. We're going to be, we're going to do it all up and everything's going to be great. So then Ralph Angel and Darla, they're out in this field. This whole scene right here, it was too long. I just felt like it didn't have to be this long, but they went into this whole conversation about having a midwife and wanting to have the baby at the house as opposed to having it at the hospital. And they went into all of this long. And I'm assuming that the point of that was maybe I'm not sure. I'm not, in the business of babies being pushed out of women and stuff like that. So maybe that's a new trend now where a lot of people are considering that now. I don't know, but it was a long conversation for no reason. So then Charlie arrives at the hospital to see Prosper. Billy is there and she meets up with Charlie and she said, hey, they talk, chit chat, all of that pleasantries and everything. But Billy told her, listen, I listen, for the betterment of my father, I ain't let nobody in there. He can't have no business. Your aunt was out of line. She overstepped. And so now can't nobody come visit. It is what it is. And I think Charlie, and she kind of mentioned it a little bit, Charlie understood completely. Charlie was like, yeah, I understand I understand why. I understand because I like to have control too. I was here for it. I was here for it. So then not Charlie, Nova is at home. She runs into this new neighbor. Cute guy. He cute. Okay. He teaches anthropology down there at the Tulane, and they have a little, little pleasantries or whatever. And so, but she knows the other lady who stays across the street, I guess. And so she says hi, and Nova just assumed that's his girlfriend or wife or whatnot. So they had a cute little conversation or whatever, because he's just moving in. So down, Hollywood is at the spot preparing for the interview. The news cameras and stuff are there. Vi ain't there. She done told him she gonna be there in 30 minutes. And she's still, lying about her whereabouts. Ain't telling him. Michael comes through and and so Hollywood shows him around the place, shows him the little wall where he wants him to put the pictures, and he shows him like this little space called the war room, where when men are having problems, they can come to the war room, sit down, talk it out. And he said, I even got this chair specially made for Prosper because he gonna get out the hospital, whatever. And then they do the whole interview or whatever. They take the interview. Vi ain't there. Vi we see is at this motel with some chick and her son. Now the chick looked like she getting out of an abusive relationship, so they send her to the motel, and the son is with her. Now the son, the lady said that the son tried to text his dad and tell his dad happy birthday, and she thinks that the dad is going to be able to track down where they are based on the text message. And so Vi looks at the phone. It's a sad state of affairs when old ass Vi is teaching you how to use a goddamn phone, and you look to be at least 20 years younger than Vi. But that's a whole different situation for a whole nother day. Because that was not believable. And even kids, that young man looked to be about maybe 9, 10 years old or something like that. Trust me, kids that age are very well in tune with how to send a goddamn text message. Anyway, and it was like the Wi-Fi, because the message we found out values in the phone, the Wi-Fi didn't, and not the Wi-Fi, but the message didn't go through. And she was like, "Thank God for bad Wi-Fi." Well, if it's a happy birthday text message that's just words, that doesn't go through your Wi-Fi. That goes through your data plan or your regular text messaging. Whatever. I'm gonna let them have it. Unless you're using like Google Voice or something like that, but I'm gonna let y'all have it. I'm gonna let y'all have it. Child, that magically ain't go through, I guess. Anyway, I don't know if this lady was with Jimmy Dale, Jimmy Earl, Willie Earl, Willie Dale, whatever his name is, David Allen Greer's character or not. But she's trying to escape. And so, because I was like, I understand, I've been with you or whatever. So, like I said, I don't know if it's somebody who used to be with Jimmy Dale, Willie Earl, whatever the man name is. Anyway, So the son tells Vi, well, can you stay and eat with us and dot, 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 and, because nobody comes to visit us and was pulling on Vi's heartstrings. So she says, yes, even though I'm supposed to be somewhere. So she ends up not going. So she goes in the other room and tells and leaves a message on Hollywood's phone because Hollywood's phone is off because he's in the middle of an interview. So his phone is on going straight to voicemail. She was like, oh, yeah, I was having plumbing problems down here to the diner, but it was nothing serious. I'll be there in a little bit when I'm done. Girl, you just a liar. Anyway, so she stayed there and eat corned beef hash. Cause y'all really eat. Girl, you couldn't bring them a better plate than corned beef hash that time of night, girl. Anyway, they're back at Ralph Angel's house. Darla is cooking his healthy food because she was like, "Oh, I need to eat right, eat healthy for the baby or whatever." Because when they was in the field, she was talking about eating beignets. Now, I stopped to say this: if eating healthy meals and all of that stuff was the thing involved with babies coming out right, child, there'd be a whole lot of horrible babies because clearly you was coked out and cracked out with Blue. He came out great. Matter of fact, he's phenomenally gifted. I got my own stories about how my mom and stuff had a lot going on, and her kids came out great. And so, and then my question was, by whose standards are you trying to reach up to when you talk about doing the right things and eating healthy and make sure we only have good things? Because if you talk about to the white people standards, have you seen some of these white kids that come out, that they pop out, that they fart out around here? Have you seen some of these white kids? A mess. Anyway, so something about that whole thing just didn't sit right for me. But I guess I'm not saying you go out with reckless abandon and you drinking and smoking and doing all of that, but just that whole I'm eating quinoa and kale and all of these things and stuff like that. I don't know. It just didn't sit well with me, but I guess I'm gonna let her have it. Charlie is fielding phone calls from everybody from the community that got some shit to say about the vaccine drive that Nova had that went south. And they going in and letting have. So she's fielding phone calls from citizens all over St. Joseph for that. We then see Nova goes to Prosper's daughter, goes to see Prosper's daughter. And Nova pleads for pleads her case for Vi. And so she says, listen, we don't you need to do right by you need to go to her see her. Just because it's the right thing to do, one, and two, you owe me. Now I don't know what she owed Nova. I don't know what Nova did for her, but she was like, and you owe me. So she says, okay, I'll call the doctors. Prosper's daughter, Billy, she acquiesces. She said, I'll call the doctor to, add her back on the list. I think Vi needed to, whatever. We already talked about that. Vi goes home. Hollywood is there. I'm looking at Hollywood knows full well she been lying this whole time. Because he was like, oh yeah, you just coming in from the diner? And you could tell he don't already checked all these places that caught up to her with all these lies. But he's probably like, it ain't the time for me to go through all this with her right now. I'm worried about Prosper. We'll have this conversation later. But you could tell he knew she was lying to her. And even you could tell because he was like, yeah, let's watch the news broadcast. He was like, I was real good. Turns out I didn't need my good luck charm. Let her know, no, I ain't need you. And she looked all kind of, like, shocked. No, he's right. A mess. Then Nova's at home. Cute neighbor comes over to give her a little plate of food or whatever that the girl that she thought was his wife or girlfriend made. Come to find out that's his sister. And so they got this whole flirting thing going back and forth or whatever. And so he sits there and listens to her as she talks about some of the stuff she's been going through because she said she had a rough day. And he was like, listen, I got a good ear. I'm a great listener. So she tells him everything that she had going on with people, blame her and saying, how could you be married to the guy that did this horrible thing to this guy that all of the stuff that we know, her being with white boy cop and people questioning, her allegiance and questioning, you know, whether or not, she's in this for the right reason. And he lets her know, listen, when you become a public figure and you're asking people to support you and follow you and listen to what you have to say, you open yourself up to people being able to question whether or not they should. They have every right to. He had to be honest with her. They have every right to question her about parts of her life, and she should have to explain that to people if she is somebody in the public eye soliciting people's to follow her, watch her, take her advice, or go along with what she's saying. And he makes her really, take a look in the mirror and think about these things. Finally, Ralph Angel goes to the hospital. And he goes there, and Prosper's bed is empty. And he's breaking down. And you see he getting the ugly face about to cry. And he's like, oh God. And then he is Prosper from behind him says, Ralph Angel. And he turns around and Prosper's right there, holding the IV in his hand because he probably had to go to the bathroom. And so they have this. So Prosper not dead and he's up and functional. And so he shows Prosper the ultrasound of the baby or whatever and tells him he's having a girl. And they have this whole moment, where they crying and this, that, and the third. And I think part of it was because Ralph Angel was telling, because Prosper told Ralph Angel, you'll be a better father to your daughter than I was. And Ralph Angel tells Prosper, oh, it's not too late for you. It ain't over till it's over. And tell him you still got a chance with your daughter. And they both sit there, crying. But I think it was doubly important because they were talking about literally trying to do right by their daughters, but also just being black men with everything going on with the police brutality and how, this could have been a situation that took Prosper out. Angel had his run-in with the police. Michael's had his run-in with the police, and how just being a black man trying to take care of your family and trying to, do right by your kids, sometimes it's taken away from you. And so I thought about all of that, and it goes on from there. It was a filler. I felt like it was a filler episode, and I'm curious to see where this goes. I'm curious to see this budding relationship between Cute Neighbor and Nova. I really want to know what Billy why Billy owes Nova. I wanted to know the significance of that dude that Micah met up with. I want to go see if there are some skeletons in Charlie's closet that the Dems need to know about. And I'm not wishing bad on the baby, but this is Queen Sugar. All of this, going through all of these, extra hoops to make sure the baby is safe and make sure the baby is good. I don't know if she gonna lose the baby, but something, I don't know. We'll see what's going to happen with that. Let's get in the comment section, y'all, and do what we do. Let's good about what we saw. Until next time, that's all I got for y'all. Thank y'all for coming. Y'all drive safely. I'm out.